Hello everybody, happy Monday. It is the 22nd of September and we're going to dive into this session on creating templates. So we're going to go beyond the basics. This is going to show you how you can customize and remix some templates so that you can get really creative with your students tomorrow, the next week, so on and so forth. My name is Nicole. I'm going to take you through an hour of hands-on creativity. You can do things along with me. You might want to watch a demo first and then try out the activity. I'll try repeat everything twice. And then by the end of this session, you'll have your ACE Leader badge, your ACE badge, but you can, of course, get your ACE Leader badge as well. I'll give you all the links at the very, very end. I do hope you sign up for ACE Leaders, especially if you're on a session that is beyond the basics. You're so in the right place if you join the ACE Leader community, because that's where you can share lots of lovely templates with other teachers as well. So here's what we're going to do. I am going to pop a little link on the screen so you can join me on this page. Now, this page, Beyond the Basics, is perfect for you if you want to maybe come and show your teachers and your colleagues some of this content as well. So let me just pop this up for you so that, you don't always just come to sessions for your very self. And there we go, that's better. So adobe.ly/ACE and beyond, a bit like to infinity and beyond, will bring you right here. And you can have this link and go and, as I said, go and take some staff PD, maybe go and do a teacher professional learning session after school with your colleagues, and you'll have these materials that you can go through. Or if you have to hop off, maybe you've got to go do an after school club or go and get the dinner on, you can always come back and see what else we covered if you miss out on any of this session. So if I scroll back up here, you'll see what we're going to do. We're going to go into a guide activity, give it a remix, personalize it, customize it. Then we're going to do the same for some of the templates that we have. We'll have a little look at how you can share those with students, particularly in the UK at the moment, whenever we don't have classrooms here just yet, and it's coming super soon. So I'll show you some ways that you can start sharing some of these resources with students right away so that they can get in and get creating based on the content that either you've created yourself or that you've tweaked and adapted from the amazing bank of templates that are in the Adobe Express library. So let's get cracking with a little bit of that, because I'm really excited to get hands-on. We're also going to have a little opportunity to have a little look at how you can get students collaborating for comments and just like creating alongside each other, because I know that's one that I get asked about all the time, is how can students get those real life skills, those 21st century skills that are talked about all the time, the 4 C's: creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking. And with the guided activities in Adobe Express and some of the amazing templates that are here, it's baked in already. So all you need to do is give your students access to it. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to head over to Adobe Express for Education. So you'll notice up in the top left, it should say for Education, and you'll have this interface. If you don't see that, you might just be on a regular Adobe Express account. You'll want to get an education account so that you have the premium version, but also this really intuitive interface that our teachers and students are loving. So we've got all of these tiles that just pop up, and you can see how clearly you can hop into some of the most popular things that people like to do in Adobe Express to create and then also edit. So there's lots of options in there. If your screen has the tiles in different order compared to mine, it might be because you're on an iPad or a different device that has a different aspect ratio. So for me here, I can see guided activities with instructions, for example, is the last tile on the top row, but it might have jumped down onto the next row for you. Just have a little look around for it, because that's where I'm going to go first. I'm going to go in here, and because this isn't a basic session, this is beyond the basics, I'm happy for you to choose your own guided activity here. You don't have to do the exact same one as me. You can choose something slightly different. But I'm going to try out some of these new ones that just came in. So we just got some of these UK aligned ones. So we got the create a character mood board. We got reimagine a historical radio broadcast. That sounds pretty fun. And then design an ecosystem postcard. So I think I'm going to try remixing the historical radio broadcast. So let me click into it and see what type of customizations I might want to make as the class teacher before I go and give this to my students. There, as you know, in guide activities, you have a little tutorial video on the right-hand side, And then you have the step-by-step instructions. So for this one, students are being asked to replace the text here, which is all about the British Commonwealth and the Empire. And then they're being asked to share why they were choosing this moment in time. And maybe they're going to add a little voiceover. So I maybe want to change this up and choose a different little template for them. Maybe I'll want to just, if I just scrub forward, I can see what else comes in. So there's Amanda and Winston Churchill. Scrub forward a little bit more. I can see when, so the House of Commons in 1940. And then this moment in time is significant because. So really lovely template. And maybe I just want to switch it up a tiny bit for a different purpose. So let's say I'm not going like that far back in time. If I click on any of the assets here, you can see it's very easy for me to replace them. But I can also see down the right-hand side my layer stack. Now, if you can't see that, it might be because yours is collapsed, like so. And if it's collapsed like that, all you have to do is click on it and you get access to all of them. And this is where I can see like this little layer stack here of items. There's 3 things in this group. So I can click into that group and I would be able to edit items in there as well. For me, what I'm going to do is scroll down and have a little look at this, this TV that's in here. And what I could do is I could either delete it like so, or if I don't want to delete it like that, I could click the replace button here and go and find something else. So this little radio, not a TV, it's a radio broadcast, Nicole. Maybe I want to replace it with something more modern. Maybe I'm going to do a not too far back in history for a radio broadcast. So let's replace. And I'm going to replace from photos. So I'm going to have a little search in the Adobe stock library. And let's just see what we get for radios that come up here. And ooh, there's that one, looks kind of similar, doesn't it? Looks like a good option that was found. A little scroll on down. There's a cool one as well. Ooh, that one's very modern. Definitely getting closer to like a boombox vibe. So maybe I want to go with that. Oh, I like this on air as well. Get lots of options. Do you know what? I'm going to go for this one. It's kind of hi-fi system. And I can see that it's cropped because I did a replace. It's ensured that I have replaced inside the same frame that it already had. But I actually want to see more of this radio. So all I have to do is double click the little cropped frame that it's contained itself within. And now I can see kind of like an onion layer almost. I can see like a little transparent version in the background that I'm just going to scale down and move over to fit into this space here. And this is actually the entire cropped frame as well. So I can just squeeze this along like so. And you'll notice, those eagle-eyed viewers, you will have noticed that it's already kept at grayscale. So the image that I found in media, then go back to it, was like this, where it had a lot of color, or as much color, it had more color than this. This has an effect on it. So to find the effects, and if you want to remove effects or change up your effects, you click on the image and then you come over to the edit panel on the side here. And instead of being on the edit tab, I'm going to go to the effects tab. And now what you can see here is like the first bunch is all of our Photoshop filters. Again, another really good way that Adobe Express is preparing students with the foundational skills, the prerequisite knowledge that they need before they go on to some of those industry standard tools in Creative Cloud. So they get access to things that they would do in Photoshop, and they get access to things that they would do in Fresco, and so on and so forth. So I can tell that there's no Photoshop filter on because there's a little like black outline on this button that says none. Same with shadow, but in tones, I can see that the none on tones isn't highlighted. It doesn't have a little black box around it. But no, neither are any of these. So that means in the view all button here, I'm going to have to click into view all to find where the button has been activated. And I can see it was this custom one. So if I actually click on this custom And now I can see, yeah, they've got the shadows are quite black and the highlights are quite gray. And let me just zoom out so I can see the changes that I'm about to make. So I'm going to head over to custom. And this is where I like to take these circles for a walk. So the shadows are quite dark, it's way down in here, but I could bring this up. Oh, it's quite luminous, isn't it? And I could scrub through. Ooh, I quite like the blue there, to be honest. I'm getting quite modern vibes from it. I could put my own effect on, or I could just go and hit none and take the effect away and just make it look like the original version. That almost looks hand-drawn at this stage. Let me go into highlights and I'll bring it up as well and see what kind of effect it makes. I think for me, this is one of those cases of just because you can doesn't mean you should. So I'm actually going to come back out of tones and I'm just going to hit none. Yeah, I think I like the clean look to it. So I'm just having none on that. And what I might do instead is go to my edit panel and just remove the background of this radio. And you'll not notice too much first, but that's because, aha, there we go. We notice that the background color here is black, and now I can see it much clearly on my template. So just move it over a little bit so I can see this little knob at the side of the radio. There we go. And now I've got on air with Amanda. Well, no, it's going to be on air with Nicole. But I suppose I don't really need to change this bit because that's what I'm going to give to students. They're going to change this up. But maybe I don't want to give them something that looks totally historical. So, I mean, that's probably still pretty similar to some of the microphones that are used nowadays, especially for podcasts. So let me just replace it anyway. Go into photos and we'll just practice this again. So let's say podcast mic. There's a good one. Kind of want it straight on. Ooh, like this one. And again, all I'm going to do is just double click and then I can edit. So if I just zoom that in there, so I've just double clicked the image to edit it. And I probably need to do a little remove background as well. And you can see it's not available for this asset. Is it because it's in a group? Let me see, on group. Why would that not be available? Let's erase then. Let's erase the background from it. Let's do that. Done. And click done there. Ta-da! There's my slightly more modern microphone and my slightly more modern looking radio. And maybe all I would do is explore themes. Up at the top here, the little paint palette, clicking themes, and I mean, it's kept my search of a podcast mic, which isn't a theme. But maybe I could say like modern funk. Let's see if something comes up there. Some options there. And I could click one of them and shuffle through until I've got like a vibe that I'm kind of happy to use for this version of the guided activity that I'm just gently remixing for my students. I mean, again, the options are too many sometimes. Let me try this one, give it a shuffle through. Not totally offended by that one, you know. So let's see if and you can, of course, go in and change any of these individually. So that I'm kind of looking at this going, isn't that a little bit hard to see the writing? So maybe I need this shape in the background to not be so transparent. So I'm going to go to the opacity and I see it's only at 90%. So let me just bring that back up to block, just a full 100%. So boom, kind of like that. So now I've taken the historical broadcast that was very black and white and gray, and I've just made it slightly more modern because, yeah, I want my students to go and use this, but we're not doing something from way back in the, you know, whatever time period. Maybe we're going for something that happened in the 21st century. So I've just modernized it a little tiny bit. And now I want to share it with my students. Okay, so what do I do? Especially when we don't have classrooms available to us right now. Does that mean I can't share with my students? Absolutely not. Here's what I do. I would go up to the share button, click it. If you're using something like Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams, you could assign it there. You could do this. I think you need to have a assignment open on those platforms so that you can assign the template there. So if you're clicking those buttons and it's not going anywhere, go into Google Classroom first and open up an assignment. But from here, if I wanted to share this with my students who maybe aren't on either of these LMS platforms, and I wanted to give it to them another way, what I could do is I could click View Only Link, and then I toggle on this Allow Others to Remix option. Woohoo, zoomed in too far. Allow others to remix. And that essentially, once I click Create Link, that essentially will create a hyperlink for me, a URL that whenever students go and paste it in or click it on their browser or on their iPad, they'll see a little blue button to remix the design. And that means they're not editing my original remastered version, remixed version, and they're getting their own unique copy. And because this is a guided activity, they'll also see the instructions in the Learn tab down the right-hand side here. So they'll still see this, so they can still follow the instructions of the template, but I've just modernized and changed things up a little tiny touch for them. So here's an example. If I just open up a new tab here and paste this in, you'll see what it looks like. Loading, loading, loading. So there's the new version that I've remixed. And you can see up at the top here, students would get this link and they will also be able just to click remix and go and create their own version of it. And let me hop back over here. One of the other things you could do, and this depends on how you set up Adobe Express beforehand and before coming into creating things like this, is you do see you've got this button to convert to a template. You could convert any design into a template and then go and put that template into a library or into a project that you're using with your students. So that is a very common workaround for some of our ACE leaders and innovators who have been trying to kind of have like a content management system or a file management system in Adobe Express for all of the amazing work that they're doing with their students. So I'm going to take a few minutes now and show you how that might look, how you might set it up, and then we'll have a little look at converting this into a template and saving it in one of those spaces. So if I just take a new tab for now, hop back into Adobe Express, and I'll show you how you would set up a project. Maybe you're going to set up a project with like your colleagues so that you can share some classroom resources and be able to collaborate together and share templates with each other. So all we're going to do is hop over to your stuff and then go over to projects up at the top. And you'll see I have a few projects going on here. So if you wanted to create your own project, just click the new project button up at the top, give it a name. So I'll call this ACE Legends. That's what you are. Pick a color for it. I'm going to go for green and click create. Now, normally this is when people say to me like, Nicole, how did you get the emoji in the middle of it? I literally just put an emoji at the start of ACE Legends for something like that. You can choose to start adding people or groups in now, or you can skip and do it later. So what you need if you want to add your students or your colleagues in there is what their Adobe ID is. So whatever the email address is that's linked to their Adobe account, paste it in there. You could get it from an entire spreadsheet. Maybe you have downloaded it from your SMS platform, paste them all in. Or if you know their username, just start typing it in directly there. For now, I'll hit skip. And I see now I have a lovely empty project. And you can see it's asking me, I can say, simplify collaboration by sharing files, brands, libraries, and calendars in a project. I haven't used calendars yet. I'm very excited to see if anyone has really good use cases of that for education. Do let me know. I'm really keen to hear. But what I could do is add to project, and I can go and search for things that I've created. So I could just start moving my original projects and my original files into this project, or I can go and send those templates into this project. Okay, so now that I have one set up, let me show you what that looks like. I'll come back over to here, and let's convert this to a template. I get an option down here Oh, it's saying files with view only links can't be converted to templates. So that was because I jumped the gun in this one. So fear not. All I'm going to do is duplicate. And I'm going to say that this is the Ace Legends remix. So I'm just remixing this one because I already made a view only link on that. There we go. All right, let's try that again. So I go to share. I go convert to template. Now we're rocking. So the template name, sure, happy with that. Location, okay, where do I want this to live? I want it to live in my new project that I set up. So I'm going to have to change where it is in your stuff. So I click your stuff, go into my projects, and then I find my Ace Legends project that I just set up, and I'm going to click select. And you'll see there it goes, Ace Legends, this will be added there. You can give it a note. So maybe there's specific instructions you want to give to your colleagues or to your students, like what they're going to do with this template. That might be your teacher instructions in there, or you can leave it empty. You also have an option to keep a copy of this file. So what that means is if I don't click this and I click convert to template, I will always be editing the master template if I want to make changes for people, or I could just keep this as a file and have a template version of it. So I could have two options. It really doesn't matter which one. For me, I don't mind just converting it straight to template without needing a copy of this file. I suppose the only reason that you would, well, not the only reason, but one of the reasons that I think you might want to keep a copy of this file is if you're going to remix this for lots of different styles of templates. So maybe you're going to have like a Key Stage 1 version of this template, a Key Stage 2 version of this template, and you just want to keep an original version of the file so that you can keep remixing that. And that could be an option. So let's just go with converting this to a template now, and then we'll go have a little look at what it looks like, and I'll repeat those steps all over again so that you can try it alongside with me. So have a little look, converted to a template. It's saved into the Ace Legends project that we just made, and I can either invite people to it straight away, or I can go to the location, or I can copy a link. I'm happy just to go to my other tab because I had it open here, and you see it's just populating in here as a custom template. Let me just give it a little refresh. I mean, it was literally just done, so I maybe should be a bit more patient. There we go. And what if you had this project filled with every student in your class or all of your colleagues? They would see this exact same view, and all they'd have to do is click the template thumbnail and then boom, use template. And they're making their own version of this project. You can also see that you could copy a link to this remixed template for them. You could then go and put that on your LMS platforms, email it to students or colleagues, whatever way you're communicating and sharing content with them, you could do that. Remember that little button for keep an original copy? If you don't click that and you want to be able to edit this template again, you're like, oh, I have a typo, or oh, I made a mistake, or oh, I want to change this up a little bit. All you have to do is click the three wee dots here and edit template, rename it, duplicate it, copy it, download, so on and so forth, okay? Everything is usually hiding behind the three wee dots, okay? Love those three wee dots. Alrighties, that was an option now that I want to repeat. I want to go through some of that again, and then we'll do that same process with the template. We'll go and find some really cool templates in Adobe Express, remix them, and they'll be slightly different to the guided activities in that the Learn tab and tutorials won't be there, but there are other options in the Learn tab for us. So let's just check if we can do that step again. So let me zoom back out here. Done. Let's say I wanted to, I'll just come right back to the start, and I'm going to do this process all over again in less than 5 minutes. So I'm going to go to my guided activities, choose any guided activity. I'm now going to go for the character mood board. In here, start making your changes. I mean, maybe I literally could just change up some of the colors here, or I could just go up to theme, or maybe I want to scaffold this for my students a bit more. So let's say I want to go for character mood board. Let's go for August in Wonder. RJ Palacio. I'm going to spell that right. And character mood board by, and then yeah, that's fine. I'm happy with my students remixing that and changing that up. I'd maybe be happy enough for them to change the colors as well to suit the book that we're doing in class as a class novel, but maybe I just want to scaffold them with the title of it. But if I did want to go in and make any more changes, then all I have to do is click on items and you'll see the layer stack moving around for us. And I can just click over to custom, start changing it up a little bit. It's like kind of a softer blue for Wonder, which is such a dreamy book. So yeah, there we go. And I could just like scrub up and down and be like, yeah, I want to change this yellow. And now I want to change this yellow to the exact same blue that I just created. So that means it's time to use the little color dropper, little eye picker, and then boom, just like that. And I would do it again. Because, you know, you could leave a lot of this these design tweaks to your students, but sometimes you want this type of activity maybe as a starter for the main lesson. And so the learning intention maybe isn't on design and colors. Maybe the intention here is all about getting your students to, you know, do the character mood board, but you still want it to feel linked to the novel and the book that you're doing. So there we go. We've now got some remixes done, and I could go in and replace with photos, or I could get maybe students to upload, just like replace and upload with their own character drawings, and maybe they've been like an illustrator in our reading circles, and so on and so forth. So let's say I'm happy with the changes I've made. I could absolutely rename the file, August mood board. And then I know that I've already got my project set up for my Ace Legends class. So now I'm going to click share. I'm going to convert to template. Happy with the name of it. I'm just going to change the location. Click select. Find the project that I want it to be template in. Here it is, Ace Legends. And then click convert to template. Da, 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 da. Done. So let's go to location, just to go straight there. I can see here's all my template settings that it pops up for me. It shows me that it's in Ace Legends. I can copy that link, send it to my students. They know now their task is to do a mood board all about Augie in Wonder. Away they go. All right. Maybe I'd want to, you know, if I want to had to go in and be like, oh no, I've made a mistake. I forgot to change this. Like I need a letter U in here for colors. Fear not. All I'd have to do is if I go back over to where that template has been saved, which is right here, I can go in and edit the template. Remember, so if I make any mistakes or if I have to update it, just the 3 wee dots, edit that template. And then now I can go in and be like, these colors represent the character August because, boom. And I could circulate around. So, the above images represents, and then I could change all of those out for my students because, I forgot to do that. All that Augusts, boom, let them do it. You can see that one be like generating an image. So you could try and generate an image of Augie. I generate this image above to show this aspect of August personality. And let's say I'm all done there. Boom. Anything else? Oh yeah, missed this bit. August evolution as a character. What a great activity this would be for students. And you can see I'm in the template editor. See up here? And as you know, you don't have to click a save button on Adobe Express because it's always saving to the Creative Cloud. So I can just come out of this now and it will have updated and saved for my students. So if I go and click the Adobe A now, and I go back in to find that in my projects, so your stuff, projects, hop into my Ace Legends, and I might be able just to tell from zooming in here that, yeah, I can see August's name in there, so it has been updated automatically for me, which is great. So all I did was just make those quick little edits and it saves automatically for me. So that's how you can remix and customize a guided activity, still be able to share it with your students using projects. That workflow, again, will change whenever Classrooms reaches your account in the next couple of months, or maybe even sooner if you are one of those lucky regions that is getting it super soon. So that's one way to do it. And of course, we will have courses and ACE trainings coming up whenever Classrooms does come out in your region, so that you can join me and we can just all get on the Classrooms train together. Now what we're going to do, if I hop back over to our resources, our training resource for today, we've gone through a guided activity, which was this kind of first one, was going through a guided activity, customizing it. Now we're going to search and customize a template from Adobe Express. So not a guided activity, we're just going to go and find templates. There's lots of different ways that you can find templates. So let's have a little look at how to find the right one for us, what filters you could use and consider, so that you're finding the best content that is suitable for your curriculum so you can bring it to life. So what we have is a couple of different avenues we can go. Up at the top, we could start searching for a template. So you could start searching up here. You can see also this is where you could prompt to create a template. Or you could search for something like word problems and click the word templates and then search. So I could be searching for some word problems to do with templates, and you see, hey, I'm getting quite a lot of great ones that are popping up here. And I already know I need to change and remix some of these because it has math and I want to change it to maths or numeracy, whatever it is that you want. So the rest of the template might be absolutely perfect and spot on for the kids that I'm teaching and the subject that I'm teaching, but maybe all I want to do is just, localize the language in it. So to do that, I would just have a little scroll through any of these templates, donut pictograph. And let's say this one, the math question of the day. This one's really jumping out at me. So I'm going to click it and you'll see it says customize template. So let's go and customize that. And what I want to do, let me just zoom back out here. What I want to do is to show you what the Learn tab looks like for this type of template. So if I click the little light bulb up at the top, it still stuck me in the previous activities Learn tab. So let me just refresh and click up here again. No, still loves it. That's a little glitch. Well, what normally happens is that you reach this, where you can discover lots of different helpful little tutorials, or you can go into tips and learn how to do different things. So such as like using generative AI. Like if you just wanted steps on how to help with generative AI, you can do that, or go into design. Maybe I want to know like how to edit and format text, and boom, I've almost got like a guided activity in there for just basic Adobe Express skills. So again, really great thing to share with your colleagues if they're like, oh no, I don't know how to use Adobe Express, I'm not ready for it. Yeah, there's everything sitting there in the Learn tab. So what I'm going to do with this one is just localize it. So I'm just literally going to just stick an S on the end. Done. The maths question of the day. How can you add 8 eighths to get the number 1,000? Only use addition. Very fun. Done. And this is probably a really good one for bulk creating. So if you have, so you see up here, bulk create. This type of template where you would maybe be putting in like multiple questions throughout, like maybe you're going to have a maths question of the day for literally all 195 teaching days of the year. then you could maybe use like one of your favorite large language models to generate a CSV of those maths questions of the day. If you get a spreadsheet with all of that, you can map those elements from your spreadsheet to text boxes on the template, and that will then just bulk create loads of things for you. So that's something that I'll be showing in our ICT coordinators and digital leads session about how to like basically bulk create lots of resources. So do sign up for one of those ones at adobe.ly/ACE training. I love doing bulk create type things, just again super handy. So there's the little link again, or the QR code that's on screen is a great place to just scan and come join me in some other trainings. So let's say I'm happy with that. I just don't want to change anything else, but now I want to go and share this with my colleagues so that they can start using this for Key Stage 1, Key Stage 2, so on and so forth. Like maybe I just want them now to go use it. I could go over to my share icon up at the top, and the same process. Either view only link if I don't have a project set up and that's not how I'm organizing my classroom content, because I'm just hanging on tight waiting for classrooms. But if you have run out of patience and you're just like, I want a project, I want a place for all of my students' work, and you have your project set up, then converting it to a template is an awesome idea. So question of the day, choose where we're going to save it to. And we already know I've got a project set up, ACE Legends, select it in there and convert to template. So now my colleagues in my school who are part of the ACE Legends project can go in and remix that for their unique class, or maybe my literacy coordinator is going to do the English question of the day. My world around us or humanities coordinator is going to go and make a science question of the day, so on and so forth. So lots of different options for you, for why you would just want a real nice collaborative space for you to be able to share templates beyond your classroom. And that is why this session is ACE and beyond after all. So there is a way to take a template, remix it, share it. Let's go and repeat that step again, because I like to show everything twice. And then we'll be nearly wrapping up and looking at some next steps. So let me just come back to the Adobe Express homepage. Now I search for that template up here, up in the search bar at the top, but let's go in now and find a template a different way and spend a bit of time customizing it and sharing it with our colleagues or with our students via projects or view-only links. So another way for you to go and find templates is down the left-hand side. This little menu over here has a few buttons: your stuff, classrooms, activities, and templates. So let's click the templates one, and we enter the templates library. And now what I'm going to do is we're going to take a little guided tour. I'm your tour guide. I'm taking a little guided tour down through the filters here. So you can see by default, United Kingdom is toggled on for us over here, and so is global. But that's not to say that there aren't amazing templates in any of the other geos. You just have to toggle them on. And then, of course, we're learning how to customize those templates so that we can still use them for our students. So toggle on as many as you want. And let's have a little look at some of the other filters that we have. So output is a really interesting one. So let's say you're doing digital storytelling and you really want your students to create a film or create a video. Then you could search in here for videos and see like, yeah, okay, I want these, I want all the video options to come through whenever I'm searching in here, and just basically toggle them all on. That's what I do. And we could go down to size. So that's the aspect ratio. For me, I never really filter by size because you can resize everything. So I'll have to remember to do that as our customization when we go in. So, but it is an option if you wanted a template that you knew was optimized for, 1920 by 1080, then go for it and filter by that option. Next filter you have is type. So again, video templates would be a great one just to click there that you just want video templates. Multiple pages. So sometimes when you're teaching, you don't want to just use this tool for a starter activity. You want something a bit more meat on the bones. You want it to be a longer activity. Maybe it's going to be some portfolio-based learning where students are going to add to it over a series of weeks. Then clicking the multiple pages is a really great tip there. And then you'll get multiple page templates. Style and mood kind of bring you that type of vibe that you're looking for. So are you looking for something quite clean, or you're looking for something quite like primary school feeling? So then I would go and search for like bold and bright, big, bold, bright and beautiful. Or is there a particular aesthetic that you're looking for, a school show that you're doing, for example, or some seasonality, like it's coming up to Halloween, so maybe you want to have some like dark, dramatic, so on and so forth. So style and mood kind of give you that aesthetic filter that you could look for. And then regions we've talked about. Now, what you can also do is you'll notice that as I hover over these video templates in particular, that you get like a little preview of it, which is really nice. But I haven't actually searched for anything in particular. I've just searched for videos as an output, and I can see that I've got 1,086 options for me here. I could clear all of these filters and I could go up to the very top, have a little look at these options, click into the videos here, and you can see you can see that this now is these are like the stock content that's in here, rather than templates. Same with the backgrounds. These are the stock backgrounds rather than templates that we can start editing the content that's built on top of it. We would be building on top of these as like almost a semi-blank canvas. Text layouts, web page templates, and then stickers, which are brand new. So these little animated options, which you can find in Elements when you're in the editor. So let me hop back to templates here. And that was just a little tour of the top bar. And let's have a little search through these templates now well, actually, maybe I want Adobe to surface some templates for me. So for this one, I'm going to go to the new button that you see down the left-hand side called Activities. Now that did used to be the Educator Resources tab. So it's been changed up to be Activities, and great news that this is being localized very soon. So you'll be able to click, like, let's say we're going to go into math, seeing as we were in it earlier. And what we'll be able to see here are some templates for this subject area as well. So teach your peers algebra, a growth mind map, teach your peers about a shape. That was really fun. Let's say I want to do this one. Okay, I want to remix this activity or this template. Maybe it's not to do with shapes. Maybe I want my students to teach their peers about volume and capacity. So I could remix and change that up and change out all of these individual little assets, but leave space for my students to come in and put in their voiceover, go in and put in their text and their explanations, so on and so forth. So I could literally just double click. Let's actually, no, I'm not going to, I was going to cop out and say, teach your peers about area. And then I was like, I can keep all of the shapes. Teach your peers about volume and capacity. And now what I'm going to want to do is shrink this text down a little bit. So just highlighted all of the writing, shrinking it down so it fits in those 2 lines or those 3 lines. I have still space to see who made the video. This now, and the reason I was going to cop out there going, I'll just change it to area so I don't need to change the shapes, and I quickly corrected myself, is because there is a quick way to change a lot of these assets, and that is literally doing exactly what it says in the tin, is using this button, Quick Replace. So let's click Quick Replace and replace some of the content here. So that I want to replace this this triangle, click it, and I'm going to replace it from the design assets. I'm going to look for like a beaker, maybe. Yeah, there we go. That type of one would be great. Well, maybe this one's a good one too. Yeah, I like that one. And then let me go back to Quick Replace. I want to get rid of this pie chart, and I'm going to go into design assets again, and oh, I like the jug. Going for the jug here. And I'm going to just click this jug and turn it around a little bit. Done. Now you'll notice that I don't have an option to quick replace these two assets and these two elements, and that is because they're shapes. So it's just a rectangle that you're editing. So I could keep that in there, or I could just click the delete button. So you've got the little bin like so, done. And I could always go into my elements and add in some more for volume and capacity. So let's see, volume and capacity. See if there's any more. I was like, ooh, yes. This one's a good one. And I think I want another measuring jug. Measuring jug. Check my spellings right. Yes, it is there. That's a great one. So again, if the learning intention for your students is all about their mathematical knowledge on this topic, and it's not about the aesthetics of their video, so you want to give them a more scaffolded template where they can still express their creativity and express their learning by making some changes, but not having to spend lots of time changing everything. And you don't have to spend lots of time teaching them how to change that. Then you could just remix the template for them and give them a version that is like nearly part of the way there. So give a simple definition of your chosen simple definition of capacity. And then I could again go to replace from design assets, and I'll keep this like little jug in here. And oh, it's cropped. So if that's happening when you're using replace functions, again, it's the same as the one that we did earlier where it kept the grayscale on top of the radio. So it will keep all of the effects for ease. But sometimes just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like I don't want that cut off. So I'm going to click my crop button and just go back to freeform where, oh, jumped over on me there. Where, let me click that. Let me drag it back over here. Boom. So freeform brings it back to its original option. Let's go over to this one. And I mightn't change all the questions for this demo, but you could go in and change it all for your students. And you could, of course, go in and replace all of the photos, so on and so forth. Or you could go and add in more scenes. Maybe you want them to make a longer video, and you could absolutely go in and do that. And then your students could go in and add in their audio, their music, their voiceovers, their animate characters would be a great one for explainer videos. And maybe they could be interviewing the expert and so on and so forth. Really cool options in there. So the same step applies here when we're sharing something that we've remixed, whether it's a guided activity or a template. All we're going to do is go to the share button. And your two options again are, zoomed in too far. If you have got a project set up and a library where you've got your students in there already or your colleagues in there, you'd want to convert to template and then save that into a template or into a project folder for your students to access. If not, go to view only link. View only link, when you toggle, when you click here, you got to toggle on allow others to remix so that they get their own customizable version of this, and then just click that. Again, if you've done this bit first, you can't now turn it into a template that goes into a project, so on and so forth. So you'd have to duplicate your file for that. But as I said earlier, whenever Classroom comes along, we'll have a button up here that says assign, and we'll just assign it into a classroom for students. And we'll have more ACE trainings on that whenever it comes to more regions in the UK, and that we're all ready for it in the next few weeks. And there we go. Got my link, copy that link, and then go share that now in whatever learning management system I'm using or whatever tool or however I share content with my students. Just like that. Okay, just great, lots of templates to talk about. I want to share one more thing with you before we get our badge and wrap up for today, which is over in the Learn tab. So down the left-hand side, underneath templates, over in the Learn tab, this is where you have lots of tutorials that, again, are great if you're doing some professional development and training with your staff. You can or somebody doesn't know about Adobe Express, there's just a couple of minutes long, that video, to introduce them to it. But what I want to introduce you to is up at the top on these options, we have educator collections. Now, what are educator collections? Well, these are real life teachers that have made content and they're sharing what they are using with their students for you to use. And it's all templates. So for example, if I hop into this one right in the middle, let's have a little look at this Kentucky teacher, having a little look at Donnie's work. So you've got a little intro video, and you see that he's sharing his template collections with us all. There's a Student of the Month nomination form, and it's just got a little link right here, and we can click it. And we'll see we get the exact same experience now, where we're now able to edit. We're not editing Donnie's original template. This is just a template for us to go and use. And we could mix that up, change things out, or go right ahead and use it as is, because it's fab. Scroll on down. Now we've got the class jobs and an application form, which is awesome. And then we've got a create a word template. Brilliant, really great literacy lesson there. And again, you've got hyperlinks there to take you to those templates. So my invitation to you is, are you doing something really cool and creative with Adobe Express? Have you got a really original template that you're using, or a project that you're creating and you want others to know about it? I can't wait until we start seeing some UK teachers over here, and I'm always looking for volunteers. So if somebody out there, you know somebody, or you are that somebody, and you think, you know what, I'm making some pretty cool stuff, I think some of my work could go right here in an educator collection, just send me an email. You know how to reach me. You have my email when you signed up for this course. So just shoot me an email and say, hey, Nicole, I think I have some really cool things that I'd be willing to share with other teachers. How do I get involved? And then we'll see. Whenever somebody comes and knocking and says, hey, got any UK educators that want to share some of their work? I'll go, yeah, they've emailed me. Let me put you in touch. All right. So do go and check these out. These 5 teachers are our founding educator collectors that you can go and look at all of their templates for 5 different subject areas as well there, which is great. So especially if there's a gap and you think, there's no templates for this from an educator, then maybe you're going to be the person to bring that to life for us. So that is my invitation to you all. Come and be an educator collector, and let's have a collection of your templates right here in Adobe Express. And in the meantime, just get practicing using templates, so on and so forth, so that you grow that skill, and then you might be able to surface some of your templates for others. And we can also do that in our ACE Leader courses. So let's have a little look at the end of our session here, which is essentially talking about classrooms. So again, it's coming very soon. Some regions are very active right now with getting classrooms activated for all of you lovely lot, and some others are getting on board very, very soon. So it's very exciting that it's coming to us soon, but you can have a little sneak peek of what to expect on, again, the link that's been ticking along the whole time at the bottom of your screen. Now what you have is a couple of options before we wrap up. We're going to get your ACE badge, and then I'm going to invite you to become an ACE leader. Okay, ACE leader has just launched in Europe. We have over 150 teachers who are signing up to be an ACE leader, and what you get as an ACE leader is 1, access to an awesome community. 2, you get to join monthly calls where you hear all the latest sneak peeks and get access to some learning opportunities, and you get to find out different ways that you can lead in a way that suits you, whether that's leading professional development, maybe it's writing a blog, maybe it's creating templates, maybe it's leading a digital leaders program for your students, so on and so forth. There's so many different ways, and you'll get to hear from other teachers about how they lead creativity in their classroom. You also get access to exclusive swag opportunities. So every month we have a creative challenge for our ACE leaders, and when they successfully complete it, they're in a draw to win some swag and prizes. So you have a very good chance of getting some swag sent to you if you sign up for ACE Leaders. Right above this is Express Links. Express Links will take you to our landing page for everything that happens in UK and Europe. And this is like your one-stop shop for getting signed up to live lessons, which are thriving right now. They're thriving, heaving with the creativity going on there with Dom and Meredith. There are so many great live lessons coming up. You've got Recycling Week. You've also got, like, Halloween is getting really, really, really busy, which is just fantastic to see. So do get signed up to live lessons, and also check out the new ebooks. So we have 4 ebooks for England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And it used to be for 35 lessons, but now it's 45. We had some summer homework. And of course, you can request other lessons if there's a particular topic or a particular template or concept that hasn't been covered and you really want some help or inspiration for it. There's a feedback link on there where you can suggest what we could do to help and support you. So there's all the links for you with all the different things that you could get creating. Now it's time for your badge. All right, you've been super patient and you've worked really hard on this session. So let's get you your badge. So this gorgeous Adobe Creative Educator badge is right here. adobe.ly/capital ACEB for badge. Okay, so type it exactly as you see on screen. That will bring you to a little platform where you literally click 4 buttons to get your badge. Enroll. It should automatically have signed you in if you're using a browser with Adobe Express. Then you click the title of the course, Launching Adobe Express. Then click the next button. Your screen rains down with confetti, and you have got your ACE badge. There will be a follow-up email that explains how to do that as well. So do not worry if you can't get access to it or you're struggling and you forget those steps. You can also pause me and rewind me. But essentially, adobe.ly/ACE badge, exactly as it is on screen with the capitals ACEB. And then click 4 buttons: Enroll, Launching Adobe Express, Next. And your screen rains down with confetti. You don't even have a 4th button. It's just the 4th page that you see. There are 3 buttons, even easier. As easy as 1, 2, 3. Alrighties, let me bring myself back to speaker view here. Yeah, there we go. Doesn't look the same way I expected. Anyway, so what do I want to invite you to? You've got your ACE badge and you now know about ACE Leader. So to join the ACE Leader program, all you have to do is go to adobe.ly/ACE sign up. If you're in the UK, it will ask which nation, but if you're not in the UK, it will also say, where else do you call home? So if you're joining us from somewhere else in Europe, you're so welcome to the ACE Leader program. I know we have some Italian innovators who have recently signed up. We have some Irish ones as well. So really excited about this community growing on this wonderful continent that we live in. And all that's left for me to say then is that there is another opportunity that's coming up very soon for you all, and that's to join the tiny but mighty team of ACE innovators. So again, these are people who are going beyond the templates. They're maybe going beyond the things that we provide as Adobe, and they're maybe creating their own things. These are people who want access to NDA privileges. They want access to exclusive swag, like this was the really cool jacket I got whenever I was an ACE innovator before joining the Adobe team, which was really cool. But you have lots of really cool opportunities upcoming. And if you go to adobe.ly/innovator Europe, you can find out all about it. And it's a 2-minute video about how you're leading creativity in your area. And I can't wait to watch the videos. I set time aside just after Halloween to take them all in. And it won't be horrifying or spooky or scary. All you have to do is just show what you're doing. And it'll be a really great session. So I'm really looking forward to getting some more ACE innovators in our neck of the woods. So please do sign up. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me. Just reply to the email that I'm about to send out with the follow-up links. And thank you so much for joining. I hope to see you at a future ACE training. And until then, peace, love, and hugs.